The killer in you is the power in me. Pleased to meet you, so good to see. The killer in you will keep me alive. Back to back, self-sacrifice.
Following off from last week's return to form, we welcome you here tonight to Millennium 93 as we inch closer and closer to Rebound and the beginning of the end for this great league. I'm the troublemaker Chloe James at your service for this evening, and we have quite a lot on deck for you this evening as we get set for Millennium, especially given after the pep talk that he got from last week. The player killer and crossover champion Haseo will be in action against Paul Phoenix. But in the main event tonight, foes at Rebound and Deku and Jotaro face off against the Millennium champion Sho and his former Spiral compadre and Vamp. All of this and much more tonight on Millennium. But we are kicking things off tonight with someone who has definitely been on this brand, but definitely has not gotten this reception while on this brand. It's one Nekama who was brought back to the Millennium brand after initiating himself on this so many years ago and dominating it back in the day as a vicious Millennium champion, the first Millennium champion even. But tonight he faces off against a foe that he has not faced off against in quite some time, as he looks to face off against one half of the Millennium Tag Team Champions, one part of the Orochi clan, in Rugal. And one has to wonder if this is going to be the start of a new streak, but not just Nidai, but also in general with the Remnants of Despair if he wins here tonight. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, Rugal Bernstein, one half of the current tag team champions here on Millennium, alongside his master in Orochi. One can definitely make the argument that the Orochi clan have been dominant as tag team champions since last season, when they walked out of Season 6 with the belts, facing off against Soldier and beating them for those belts at that period of time. Ever since they won them, in controversial fashion, mind you, against Dojo Saotome. But given the resurgence of one Ranma Saotome, one has to wonder if we may be seeing a rematch against those two teams sooner rather than later. Especially given the fact that Ranma bested out against Keith, one half of the Legendary Defenders, just last week here in this same match spot. So one immediately has to make the argument, are we about to see something happen here which may lead to something potentially for Rebound, as the Millennium Tag Team titles have yet to be decided for that event. But let's get started, let's get to it here tonight as we get set for our opening contest here tonight. Nekama Nidai, the ultimate despair, as he calls himself, against one half of the Millennium Tag Team Champions and Rugal Bernstein, the Omega Rugal Bernstein, one may even say. And like I mentioned before, this isn't the first time that Nidai has actually faced off against Rugal Bernstein. One may bring themselves back to season 4, when Nidai was out after nearly several months thanks to having his throat crushed at the Grand Slam 3. He returned as the mystery partner for Squall and Rock to face off against the Orochi clan back in the day. This, of course, leading to an encounter by proxy against Rugal Bernstein in that contest. So, seeing this here tonight and seeing the difference since that period of time by a powerbomb by Rugal Bernstein definitely has to make one wonder here tonight if Nidai might be in trouble given the fact that it appears as though that Rugal has only gotten more vicious since those days. It's almost as if his continued influence within the Orochi clan has made him all the more vicious, which realistically speaks volumes given the fact that Rugal has been around for quite some time here in the All-Star Calling, dating all the way back to the Hound Connection days back in Season 1 and 2. But you can definitely tell that these two sides of the coin, what arguably have been going side by side for quite some time here in the All-Star Call League. But one has to immediately wonder, are we potentially seeing those differences combust here tonight in your opening contest for the evening? I mean, it's definitely one thing to consider, especially as Nidai has been trying to outsmart and outpower Rugal at every turn, but Rugal definitely showcasing the way that he has certainly changed over time over the last few years. Nidai, on the other hand, showcasing that he can still keep up with the most powerful of them over time, and he's showcasing it off right here tonight, even if it's to his own detriment at times with this. And really, Rugal is certainly having a... Oh god, the flurry of strikes right there by Rugal. Still keeping up the assault. Punching him right in the skull at that. And Rugal is just simply styling on him at this point, before going right back and just kicking him right in the face at that. And you have to wonder if Nidai is in trouble, but wait a minute, Nidai from out of nowhere. Package palm driver, and he flips him off to the side at that. One, and that only manages a 1 for that combination, mind you. And he completely reverses that one. Rugal setting him up and luring him right back down for a powerbomb at that. And right now, Nidai, you have to wonder, especially with everything at this point, it's not looking good for him at this point here, but Nidai still managing to find a way to break out of it. And Rugal getting right back up again. Oh! Sucker punching him just like that with the close arm strike, just like that. And Nidai, but no referees in the way, giving Rugal enough time to get out of the way. But Nidai still taking full advantage of the situation, taking full advantage. But Rugal's already right back up there. Axe handle right there by Rugal. I mean, by Nidai onto Rugal, I should be saying there. And Nidai's already looking to try and take advantage of it, but no, Rugal coming right back up again. Rugal showing off that power and strength by damn near almost no-selling every bit of major offense that Nidai has had to bring about in this match so far, to the point Nidai has had to dig deep and just go right for the trenches at that. And really, when all else fails, you gotta work on wearing down the opponent, especially with someone as brutal as Rugal Bernstein at that. But Nidai cannot afford to be complacent. Nidai cannot afford even a moment of being complacent in this contest. He has to dig deep in regards to this contest, especially against someone like Rugal Bernstein. And Rugal establishing that fact why you need to keep on him at all times, otherwise you risk it at every single turn. But Nidai also proving that he too can be able to come back out from almost vicious encounters just like that. But Rugal once again setting the bar high in this match for being able to come back out of it. Nidai, on the other hand, trying his best to go deep into the arsenal with that suplex at that, but only nets him a 2. Even a springboard isn't enough, and he misses the target on that one. And, oh Christ, with the chokeslam toss at that. Who is Rugal thinking? Oh god, if he hits this, it could be all over. Dead End Scream, no! Dead End Screamer denied. Dead End Screamer denied, and a pop-up punch in return. Rugel's thinking that might be it. No, not that. It is not that at all. But Rugel's sizing him up, thinking something else. Genocide Cutter! Genocide Cutter just like that right onto Nidai. Only nets him a 2 at that. And going right back in for those closed fists right to the skull. Just wailing on him, putting his full weight onto Nidai and going right back into the assault at that. And Rugel is just thinking right now, wearing down on Nidai is probably the only thing you can do at this point to keep him down if a Genocide Cutter couldn't do it. And Nidai is simply thinking, what do I gotta do in order to keep this bastard down? But I think he might be thinking of how to do it with a Despair Bomb! 1, 2... Only a 2 count by Nidai. And that splash right there, thinking that that could have been it. Instead, Rugel gets up and at him. Going right back and socking him right at the side of the head with a closed fist at that. And Rugel is simply thinking, just wearing him down, how much more can this one teenager have in him at this point to keep him going? Whatever it is, it's probably not going to end that well! Tossing him right back down, going up high. Is he thinking, Dead End Screamer! But the Dead End Screamer even doesn't get the job done. Nidai's already back up and he's going right for it again. Despair Bomb for a second time. That might be it for Rugel. 2. And Rugel is somehow still in this. A Dead End Screamer and 2 Despair Bombs immediately after the fact. What on earth are these two gonna have to do each other in this opening contest to keep the other one down? I hear you cry from across the screen, but I am just as flummoxed as you are as these two keep on going here tonight. And I mean, this is just our opening contest we're talking about here. We still got Haseo versus Paul Phoenix. We still got the tag team main event here tonight. We have still got a lot on deck, and the fact that these two are giving it their all. 1, 2. The fact that these two are giving it their all in the opening contest here tonight speaks volumes as to what you can expect from Millennium here tonight. And Nidai still somehow has not managed to find the way to keep Rugel down, but the way I think I see it going is that Rugel might be about to put Nidai away if he's not careful. He might be about to put Nidai down if he gives him the opening. And Nidai's making those foolish mistakes. He cannot afford to give Rugel even an ounce of an opening here tonight, and yet Rugel might have got an opening of his own exposed right there in that moment, but he's right back at it again. But Nidai, ever the determinator, keeps on going. We know for a fact it's actually going to take a lot to take down Nidai. What the hell was Nidai able to fly like that? I haven't seen him do that before. Nevertheless, Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we're definitely seeing the massive influx of 2 separate styles clashing right here and now. But Rugel still looking like he is going to go the distance and take out Nidai at every turn. And it looks as though he might be about to go for that. No, the high knee denied right there. High knee denied. Looking to go for the package pile driver again. This time hitting the mark on the package pile driver. Looks to be for a third despair bomb. No! A third despair bomb denied here. And Rugal finding that opportunity now. He might be about to clinch it right here and now. It's not looking good for Nidai. It is not looking good at all. And I think Rugal knows exactly what time it is. It's time to put this kid down for good. Here it comes. Dead Streamer! 2-3. What an opener is all I can say for that. Rugal Bernstein makes a statement clear tonight, but Nidai, I would argue, sets it clear that he is still not someone to be messed with, even in defeat against someone like Rugal in your opening contest tonight.
Let's get something clear tonight before our tag match. I'm not your friend out there. I'm not even your ally. I'm just someone who wants to make sure you make it to the triple threat unharmed, so that I get another chance at being able to kick your ass and prove I'm the better man.
Consider it mutual then. But let's not kid ourselves here, hero. If you really were the better man between the two of us, you'd have proved it back in December when we were going at each other one-on-one. As far as anyone's concerned, you're not even a factor in this match between me and the champ. You're just a tag-along out of pity. Just like in our match tonight.
I'm just here out of pity, huh? Fine. Gloves off then.
Gloves off, huh? That does not spark a lot of optimism for what we're going to get into for our main event here tonight, is all I'm going to say in that regard. That leaves me a little bit, how would one say it? I'm thinking there's going to be some shenanigans happening in our main event if we're not careful, but nevertheless, we go from one banger of an opener match to arguably a trial by fire for one person in particular in this contest. Because as you can see right now, there is one man who definitely has been here for quite some time and, for better or for worse, has definitely made his mark around here in Paul Phoenix. One half of the Dudes of Destruction, former Millennium Tag Team Champions, with the person that will be teaming with Sherman Avimoto in our main event tonight in Vamp. Paul Phoenix has definitely had a bit of an interesting streak as of late in terms of his solo career. Losing the fight for the right match at the Grand Slam, losing to Rock Howard back at the draft. It's certainly been an interesting time for Paul Phoenix around these parts. But for one person in particular, it's definitely been on the rise as of late. And especially after what happened last week, all eyes are on this man to try and make that win count, as one phenomenal Wave Master said to him. And it's our crossover champion, the player killer himself, in Haseo. Now you can tell by the fans' reaction that they are still a bit tenuous at best in regards to our current crossover champion. Despite everything that was said to him last week, people are still out here a bit dubious at best in regards to the crossover champion after what he did last season. But he still has the belt around his waist. He was the better man in that Iron Man match, even going to sudden death at the Grand Slam. So one has to wonder if here tonight, it is once again going to be something of a trial for Haseo as our crossover champion. I mean, the man did something impossible by all standards of defending champions going into the Grand Slam. He walked out of 2 Grand Slams in a row as champion, mind you. A first feat in not just in the history of the crossover championship, but a feat in general for the All-Star Call League in general. because no champion has walked into 2 consecutive Grand Slams and walked out the same champion they walked in and walked out of 2 Grand Slams in a row, and yet Haseo did that. That to me speaks levels to the amount of prestige that Haseo has brought to that belt and the level of skill the player Killer has brought about in his time as crossover champion. And he may be looking to extend that here tonight in solo action against Paul Phoenix. And here we go, getting set right here tonight. And to put it like this, ladies and gentlemen, these two have not been strangers in the ring. These two have faced off against each other in the past. One can only take your minds back to Danger Zone of last season back in 2022. Infamously, Paul Phoenix and Haseo faced off against each other in a no-holds-barred contest at Danger Zone that last season, mind you. So the fact that these two are squaring off against each other under normal circumstances, one has to wonder if we're going to see the difference with what ends up happening here tonight against these two when you put all the restrictions in place and you have to have them play by the rules in that regard. I know, hard as it may be for one person like Paul Phoenix to do in that regard, but you have to think maybe he might be capable of doing that. But Haseo already taking the advantage right here tonight, but he cannot afford even one moment of being able to let his guard down as he did just then, because Paul Phoenix may very well get back up and immediately tell him, hey, no, you don't get that. And you can see in the position in that moment, Haseo was trying to duck in that moment. He was trying to duck under that one at that moment in time and be able to avoid that brute, but he mistimed it from Paul Phoenix. That is the thing you gotta keep in mind, because Paul Phoenix is one of the most vicious men in this league. I will bat him on that. Like, if you're ever in a match with Paul Phoenix, you need to be on your A game at every moment, because otherwise Paul will take every opportunity to fuck you up in the ring. We saw that when Rock Howard didn't take advantage of it in the moment. We saw that. We've seen it so many times in the past with Paul Phoenix, but Haseo is showing that you do indeed need to be on that A game against Paul Phoenix, and he's setting him up the top rope! God, the underhook suplex from the top of the rope by Haseo, and now he's digging right back into the well of strikes right there and throwing him into the corner. One has to wonder just what the hell Haseo has to be thinking as he goes right for those barrage of strikes with that right arm of his. And yet Paul Phoenix immediately going right back to the well of just playing around with Haseo, setting him up for a belly-to-belly. No, denied. And Haseo, no, and a Pele to reverse it just like that. And a splash right to the outside by Haseo onto Paul Phoenix. Immediately going right back to that well of strikes immediately as these two trade blow after blow after... Oh, God! I was about to say blow after blow after blow, but never mind. Paul Phoenix out there going immediately for the power bombs right there and rebounding him right off the apron. One has to wonder if that is karma for the way that he did a Tower of Death onto Tsukasa back at the Grand Slam onto the apron. The knockout blow only netting him a 2. The knockout blow only netting Paul Phoenix a 2 count right there. The combination denied right there by Haseo as Paul gets right back into the action. And now Paul sending Haseo right into the corner, and it is not looking good again for Haseo. And now Haseo definitely has to be wondering just what the hell do I gotta do at this point? Because Paul's got me in a bind at this point in the torture rack position. Oh, God! Christ! Landing his head from that position just like that, and oh god, the vice-like grip from Paul Phoenix squeezing down on the head of Haseo. Squeezing his head in with two of his hands even. Looking like he could crush Haseo's head like a watermelon at that point. And yet Haseo getting up and getting out of it. But you have to wonder if that's going to leave some lasting damage from the player killer just like that. And it's still not looking good on the part of Haseo. He needs to find some way to be able to get some massive amounts of assault in. Otherwise, Paul may very well have this contest dead to rights. And it might not even be all that hard to do it at that. And Haseo just continuously going for the wear down strikes just like that. He has to be thinking of something here. And this could be it. The first of many potentially with the terror of death. 1, 2. Only netting a 2 with the terror of death onto Paul Phoenix just like that. Haseo going up to the top. Rope and a splash. Catching the rope on the way down at that. That did not look good. God, and sending him right near our announce desk as well. It's not looking good on the part of Paul, but Haseo is trying to find ways to strike back at that. And Haseo once again flinging him right back into the inside. I was a bit worried there. Haseo, you getting that desperate already with that one? And Haseo, on the other hand, wait, that springboard frog splash right there onto Paul Phoenix, just like that. And another Pele, just in the moment, just when you thought that Paul was going right forward. Ducking under again with another Pele. You have to wonder what the hell Paul has to do here, just with those Peles. Oh, God! The pop-up cutter just like that. Only netting him a 2 again with that one. And he's back up. Haseo's right back onto his feet. Tornado Enziguri just like that. Right onto Paul Phoenix. Laying it all on the line against Paul Phoenix here tonight. One has to wonder just what the hell is Haseo gonna do in order to get to this point, in order to get the win here tonight against Paul, as he keeps on with the barrage of punches just like that. Continuously going right forward again, sending him back into the ropes again. Haseo may be getting a bit desperate here in regards to what he has to pull out. Setting him up in that tree of woe position and putting his feet right into the face at that. And wait a minute. Going right there for the crossface just like that, but no. Barely being able to lock it in for that long as Paul goes right back onto the assault, but Haseo gets out of the way. And now Haseo linking Paul right back into the ropes again. But Paul seemingly expecting everything at this point from Haseo and then some. He has to be thinking at this point, it's realistically got to be something that Haseo's realistically got to look at something big here in order to take out Paul Phoenix at that. But Paul has an answer for seemingly everything on the part of Haseo here and now. And Haseo ducking and dodging out of the way, taking advantage of it. Getting him right back, but Paul going right back to those assaults. Right there with those punches and hooks. Right there, Haseo! And a spinning knee just like that. And it's still not looking good for Haseo here. Paul looks to be setting him up and wailing him down just like that. Instead of going for something off the top, he's going right for the pin. And it looks like he intentionally let that one go at that point. Oh, Christ! That double-handed barrage right there by Paul Phoenix. Oh, no! Haseo gets out of it. He was looking for another KO punch just like that, but Haseo says no, throwing him into the corner again. Christ! Wailing on him one more time into the corner just like that, setting it up. Here it comes, Scape Driver! Scape Driver, but it's not enough. He's going for a twofer there. Is he looking to put him away? Oh, Terror of Death for a second time. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. That was enough to put away Paul Phoenix here tonight. And I think despite everything that we've seen in the past from Haseo this past season, I think many people here tonight have become believers in the player killer again. He may still have a long road ahead to get some people back on his side, but if tonight was any indication, Haseo is definitely back on the path to being on the right side with the fans again, if this was any indication. And I think he's actually wanting to talk about that more. He's asking for a mic here.
So, last week, I got told by my old mentor to make this reign count after I win against him. Well, let's make it count then. I want someone to come out here and make an offer. I want to face some of the best on this roster and prove that I am worthy of being champion after all I have done. So, if there's anyone in the back who wants a piece of me and my belt, come out and show me you want to take it from me.
I mean, that's an open challenge to anyone in the back, it seems. But I think the question is, are we actually going to get an answer on that one right here tonight, of all things? Oh my god. Last week he made quite the impact against the Millennium Champion, even in a losing effort. But I think this, for all intents and purposes, is the call that Squall Leonhardt needed. Because if there is anyone who could be seen as a massive goalpost in this division, in ACL period, it would be the Lionheart, a former Millennium Champion and then some. And I think with that, I am almost dead certain Haseo has found his next big hurdle in Squall Leonhardt. And Squall's just looking at him simply to say, I know what you want. You know what I'm capable of. How about we give them what they want? And I'm getting word here, right here and now, Maximilian Pegasus is saying, you two want to do this? Sure. It's official for Rebound. Haseo will defend the crossover championship against the Lionheart Squall Leonhardt. And if this was any indication, I get the feeling it's gonna be big.
Closing your hands
What a night it has been as we welcome you back here tonight to Millennium 93. As we welcome you back, it is now time for our main event of the evening. And I cannot help but have a sense of worry as I see Midoriya Izuku come out here tonight for this main event first. I mean, we all saw what happened earlier tonight between Midoriya and Jotaro Kujo. We all saw that encounter between the two of them. I can't help but feel a bit of sense of worry that these two coming together, especially given what we've been seeing over the last week or two between these two, you have to wonder if the combustible elements, these two being able to team tonight, is that actually going to work? I mean, Sho's picked someone that he knows he can team with well in the past. These two, on the other hand, I don't know if they're going to be able to function for even 5 minutes. But regardless, Midoriya is there, Jotaro his partner. These two will be a part of the triple threat match at Rebound for the Millennium Championship against Sho and Vamp. Tonight they have to work together in order to maybe have a chance at getting the early shot on the Millennium Champion. If they can even do that, given the fact they have to go through Vamp as well in order to get to the Bastard. Regardless, it looks as though Jotaro is pumped even after the awkward little pep talk that the two of them had earlier this evening. One has to wonder if maybe, just maybe, they might be able to do it after all. And here comes one half of their opponents here tonight. One half of the other half of the Jews of Destruction that we saw in his partner Paul Phoenix just not that long ago. A former brethren of Spiral. It's Vamp. Now I will definitely say this. Vamp has had his fair share of experience in tag team contests. He was brought in initially as a member of Outer Heaven back in the day with Liquid Snake, Revolver Ocelot, and whatnot. He was a former tag team champion alongside Revolver Ocelot, and as well as that, he was a former tag team champion with Quan Chi back in the day of the Inner Circle. He's also been a former tag team champion with Paul Phoenix, mind you, so he has a lot of expertise in tag team action. But when it comes to this man, this is another man who has definitely made his mark in tag team competition. May I remind you all of the Prodigies back in the day when he was tagging alongside the now reformed Davis Motamiya as the Prodigies back in the heyday of Spiral. Granted, back in the day, he had someone just as capable on the same skill level as he was back in the day in order to bounce off. Now, he has to deal with someone who is arguably a lot more tougher and a lot more vicious. But then again, he can just as easily use him as muscle if we are being clear about this here. So one has to wonder if Sho and Vamp here tonight is going to take full advantage of that and then some. And you can see Sho with that Millennium Championship in his possession here tonight as the final entrant in this contest, looking on at his prize with joy here tonight as the Millennium Champion. One has to wonder if he's pleased looking on at his opponents in 2 weeks from now and thinking to himself, God, I feel great. And here we go, we're set for our main event here tonight. It is Midoriya, Izuku, and Jotaro Kujo versus Vamp and Sho and Vamp. And you can definitely see from the word go, Midoriya is not looking to take any kind of, is pretty much going full blast from the word go, trying to weed out Vamp from the competition altogether. And he's breaking out some more vicious opposition right here tonight as he faces off in the opening minutes of this match, almost as if and now directly taunting at Sho and Vamp as he lays waste to the opposition right here tonight against Vamp. Already busting open Vamp with those hard-hitting shots to the head. Vamp is not looking good. Midoriya is definitely looking to make a statement of intent right there to the Millennium Champion, right in front of him, mind you. But Vamp, seeing the opening in the clear, immediately going and just wailing down in front of the Millennium Champion as if to say, hey, remember back in the day when we used to do this? And Vamp has already taken advantage of the situation. Sho seemingly having taken the worst aspects from his former leader in Spiral from Spike Spiegel back in the day when he was leading the group, just calling the shots and just calling it all from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Deku making the tag to Jotaro. Jotaro is now in the playing field, as it were, and going right onto the assault, onto the heavy that is Vamp on his side. But Vamp, not one to take it lightly, flinging him and rebounding him with the ripcord just like that. Putting the full weight of his body right onto Jotaro's chest just like that. And looking to wear down at the hands of Jotaro just like that, trying to cripple them before they can become a weapon to be used against him later on in this contest. Continuously stomping down at those hands, knowing that he'll need to use that grip in order to keep him up for the over heaven and to keep him locked onto the side for the Stardust Crash. And still, Vamp is still trying to wear down on Jotaro however he can. And let's just say it is not looking good, but Sho makes the tag and is now in. And immediately going for the pin. One. Thinking he could get out of it without getting any of the work done. Sherman says no. Jotaro says no, but Sho going right back onto it, but Jotaro says nah-uh, going right back onto that vicious assault onto Sherman knowing that he deserves it. Jotaro continuing to find opening after opening. Continuing to find opening after opening in order to wear down on Sho with those massive, hard-hitting strikes! And the hard-hitting strikes after hard-hitting strikes continue. Oh, Christ. Wailing him down onto the side. Is he thinking for Star Platinum at this point? He's thinking of it, hitting the Star Platinum just like that, the namesake from his stand. Is it enough? And no! I wouldn't necessarily say that's worthy of tag team wrestling just yet. We have yet to see much tag team wrestling in this tag team match, as it were, as currently it has been mainly assault after assault from both sides separately at this point here. But I get the enthusiasm, fans. I definitely get that enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Midoriya is looking on at the outside. Sho is taunting away at him! And Deku's finally looking to get involved however he can. Deku, on the other hand, leaving an opening for Jotaro, leaving an opening for Vamp to get in the tag and replace Sho just like that. Jotaro was looking to take advantage of the situation, however, but Vamp is going right back to going and targeting the arm and hand of Jotaro just like that. Thankfully, Jotaro is still fresh enough in this contest to where he is able to keep the assault going. No! Single-handed choke slam. Not enough. Jotaro gets right out of it. Oh! That suplex just like that. Vamp may be in trouble at this point. No! Overheaven denied and a DDT instead. Right now it's not looking good for Jotaro. He was just cut off at the pass just like that. But here he comes. Vamp looking for the Crucifix Powerbomb. Crucifix Powerbomb just like that. That might be it. No! Only a 2 count. It's gonna take more than that to keep Jotaro Kujo down. And Vamp is knowing of it as he's continuing to go right for the assault right to the skull. It's not looking good right now. Jotaro needs to find a moment to get to make the tag right to Deku at this point, because he's trapped in that corner and Sho is ensuring that he stays trapped. And Sho is almost taking pleasure in this. Like, hey, I did this to you once before back in December. I'm gonna do it again in 2 weeks from now. And Jotaro, instead of making the tag, is taking those assaults with the forearms right into the corner of Shermanami Moto. One has to wonder if this is a bad idea, as even Deku is calling for the tag at this point here. He's practically begging to make the tag at this point right here and now. And Jotaro is acquiescing to making the tag at this point here. But Sho, as if playing possum with a headbutt just like that, is practically saying, hey, I was waiting for that. And Deku trying to cut him off, but no, Sho makes the tag right to Vamp. But Deku trying to go for the assault onto Sho regardless. Vamp now the legal man, however, continuing those forearm shots right to Vamp, however. Oh! A sidekick right to the skull. But Deku's thinking. He's thinking Detroit Smash! Detroit Smash right there, but he made the mistake of not taking Vamp out of their corner, and Sho, on the other hand, getting involved. And this is now breaking down really badly here, because Deku's focusing his shots between 2 men at this point. And a flying forearm right to the outside, as Deku continues the assault onto Vamp on the outside now, continuing to keep it going there. Sho's down on the outside. Jotaro continuously going right for it there. No! That one was a close call right there. Deku barely missed Jotaro, going right for Vamp with that clothesline just like that. And it's going to hell right on the outside there as both teams bring it right back in. Deku knows he has to... Yep, there we go. Bringing it right back into the inside now. Midoriya, I know that you want to make a statement here. I know that you really want to make it clear that you are the better man here tonight. But you gotta focus on getting that win. He's getting way too distracted in potentially going right for those assaults just like that. But I think even he knows that he has to make the tag at some point and give Jotaro some time in the ring. And a double shoulder tackle by both men, as Jotaro is now the legal man. Deku now acquiescing the ring to him. And Jotaro seeing Sho tagging in at this point here. But just when you think that Sho was about to take advantage of it, Jotaro immediately takes the upper hand again. And going right for those vicious lariats once again. Going right onto the assault onto Shermanami Moto. And really, for Jotaro, this is sweet vengeance for what happened back at December at the Grand Slam. And you thinking, wait a minute, no, I say that. Number cruncher from out of nowhere from Sho onto Jotaro. Deku breaking up the tag, however, ensuring that Sho does not get the win here tonight so easily. But Jotaro is not looking good here. Sho once again taking Another sneaky maneuver, and once again, barely spending any time in the ring at this point. The champ simply allowing Vamp to do all the heavy lifting just so that he can get the win at the end of the day. And Deku going immediately for those strikes after getting the tag in, thanks to Jotaro getting the hot tag in. But one has to wonder, what on earth is Deku thinking? Knee right to the skull of Vamp, just like that, continuing to wear down the shots onto Vamp at this point. And it keeps going and going, and wait a minute, no! Deku got caught with a one-handed choke bomb just like that. But Deku's pissed. He got right up out of that, and he's going right for the assault again. Oh! Going right there for the high shots just like that. Trying to find anything to keep Vamp down. Full cowling right onto the outside. Full cowling right to the outside. And Sho taking full advantage of this and going and assaulting Jotaro at that. And once again, this match is fully breaking down on the outside. Both members of both sides are just assaulting each other like it's nothing at this point here. Sho and Deku. Oh god, Deku getting bolted from the back right there by Sho. And you can tell the timing on the part of Jotaro and Deku was mistimed there for a second. And oh god, Deku's trying to stop the crucifix from happening there, but the crucifix powerbomb happens regardless. Jotaro is down. Midoriya is still going for those strikes. One would have to argue Jotaro just took the crucifix for Deku out of nowhere, just as an act, almost as if it's an act of mercy, one might argue. Like, I don't know what to tell you there in that regard, ladies and gentlemen, but I would say Jotaro Kujo took the bullet that was meant for Deku in that regard, seemingly for the betterment of their team in this contest here tonight. And now, Jotaro is just looking on, trying to ensure the safety of his tag team partner here tonight. And he's trying to make sure that Sho doesn't double team him any further at this point. Almost trying to block Sho off from Deku at this point. But both members of the team are getting assaulted right here on the outside by Vamp and Sho. Deku trying to bring this right back into the ring here now. And really, what can I tell you except for the fact that this has really got layers in this contest with a pop-up Detroit smash from out of nowhere right onto Vamp, but it's still not enough to keep him down. And really at this point here tonight, everyone, this has been a hard-hitting contest from the word go for everyone involved. Deku making the tag right there to Jotaro, but what on earth, Deku? What on earth are you thinking there? What on earth are you doing there? Oh god! Sho getting flinging Deku right into the corner there. Sho going for the pin on the Jotaro right in front of Deku in the corner. But he's got something worse in mind. He's seeing Deku still in the corner just like that. He flings Jotaro right into him. And once again! Oh god! Jotaro being flung right to the outside just like that. Deku getting the punishment as a result of that. And once again, he's not even the legal man, but he's taken the bullet regardless with the number cruncher just like that. It's almost as if it's trying to make a point of cruelty right there onto both sides at this point. Deku's already taken a brunt of damage at this point, and he is just... Sho is just making sure he's just trying to make a statement there. And yet Jotaro, he might be about to end it as a result, going right for the pin with the over heaven. But Vamp using the numbers game to their advantage, once again ensuring that Jotaro doesn't get it there. And you can see Jotaro He is just completely out of it at this point here. He is but he's still trying. He is still trying his best. And you can see Deku, he is just paying close attention to what is happening on the outside here with Jotaro and Sho at this point. Almost as if he is staring intently right there, almost drilling a hole into the backside of Jotaro Kujo here tonight. But really, how much longer do you feel like these two teams can really go against each other at this point? Because it feels like these two teams have really been going at it this entire time. And wait a minute, what on earth is Deku thinking of doing here? What on earth is Deku thinking here at this point? And oh! Did he really just nail? Was that on purpose? Deku, what the hell are you doing? Nailing Jotaro just like that, and now getting punished as a result of it by Shomanami-moto. I mean, if that wasn't on purpose, that's bad timing on the part of Deku in that regard. But if that was on purpose, then holy shit, ladies and gentlemen, what on earth is wrong with Midoriya Izuku with a binomial eliminator from the top of the rope just like that? And Sho is seeing Deku as well, and he's wailing him down to ensure he doesn't get involved in this. And he's gonna end it the exact same way he won the title at the Grand Slam against Jotaro, with a Zeta slow kick right to the temple of Jotaro Kujo. 2-3. Shomanami-moto did it again. I can't fucking believe this. Using Vamp as his heavy, I should say. Sorry. I was reminding myself of Spike Spiegel, the last guy who pulled such tactics back in the day, and he's used him tonight to his advantage and to get the win at that. And oh god, you can see Jotaro and Deku are fuming with each other, and oh Jesus Christ, cameraman, turn it back there, oh god. These two are just coming to blows. These two just absolutely cannot hold it in anymore. Jotaro thinks that Deku did it on purpose. Perf signs are in. Oh, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting word. Next week, Deku versus Jotaro 2 is our main event. Christ.